It's challenging sometimes when you're starting a business, growing a business, or maybe growing a family or growing towards goals. There's so much going on in life. And if you're not setting your own direction, maybe other people are setting it for you, or maybe the cultural conditioning is setting your direction. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't have very highly ultra successful family around me and when I was growing up. So I had to find some kind of role models. Yeah, role models of excellence or who to look at. And if the environment around you is a place where no one is getting out or no one is making difference, then that's the environment around the conditioning we grow from. To break out of that takes certain elements. And in breaking out of it, there's always going to be a lead. Yeah, a lead, maybe a leader, or this thing called leadership, like a ship going through. Then we have to maybe go through on the outside. You know, there's a guy in Shanghai a long time ago called the suited monk, and he always spoke about the suit and the monk inside. So to be able to grow the outside, be it a business, a career, and to grow the inside at the same time can be very, very challenging. And sometimes we have to put on a face, put on a mask, or put on a sales outfit and go sell. I've got to present this outside thing, maybe even just selling ideas. So we have this thing called external leadership, and then we have our inner world. And if they don't align, it's inauthentic and it wears us out. Yeah. Whereas being in line will charge us up. So it's very important we get these suits together, hence authentic leadership. And I'm really looking forward to Janine presenting this because what she has led in Shanghai has been phenomenal. And there's thousands of people in their WeChat groups. The 10 or so WeChat groups, 800, 500 people all contributing and taking part. And you've done that over the last X years. So it hasn't been like a 3-month explosion or 1 year. You've been working on this for years, Janine. So that makes you an absolute true leader.
Okay, let's get this started. Good evening, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. Egypt, Macedonia, China, Australia, and so on and so on. Today's topic, right? And I have 3 points that I want to cover with you. Number 1, techniques to create and leverage your personalized, authentic leadership style. Number 2, how to turn every challenge into an opportunity. I will also share actually something that happened to me, which I have not told anybody yet. And number 3, how leaders leverage the power of intuition. So that's a new thing I've recently started working on. And I'm also going to give a freebie to somebody in here. I'd love to give a 1-hour executive or high performance coaching session to anybody in here. So be active. And some of the most active people here in the group chat, at the end, we can have a little tombola or we let Adrian decide, and you're going to get a free coaching session. Good. So on the next page, you can see a little bit more about me. Yes, I'm a founder, an intercultural consultant. I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, I'm a TEDx speaker, a motivational speaker. But to summarize all of this, what I do as a job nowadays is we transform B players into A players, and A players into A++ trainers and players, and teams into high performing teams with high employee engagement. To sum all of this up, because it sounds fancy, for me, it's all about, yes, bringing in success and high performance, but at the same time, not neglecting well-being and happiness. And as you can see, I come from corporate, I come from IT, I am German, so I used to work at HP. And when I found my purpose in life, and at that time I was already doing a double master's degree, also partly in China, I quit my corporate job at HP Germany, stayed in China, And I had to found my own company, consulting training company. This was not the plan, but it just felt right. It was my intuition that, yes, this is just the right thing to do. On the next slide now, we can basically dig deeper into the topic now. And my first question to you is, what do you think if you think of all these like super successful people out there, the most successful people that you know, business people? Adrian, on the next slide, what is their personality like, or what kind of values do they maybe have? And here I just have a couple of pictures. I don't know if you know Oprah Winfrey. I met her husband. Sorry, they're not married. Stedham Graham. I mingle with several different billionaires that I also learned from. We have amazing Chris and Adrian in this picture, and Kevin. We were working together, and I learned from them in Bali, right? We have, I don't know if you know the shoes, Reebok. The Reebok founders on the top left side, and so on. Now, you know a lot of very successful people, don't you? Think about what their personality and their values are like. Write it in a chat now. Let's have a little bit of a selection here. Try to analyze them. And it doesn't matter from which industry they come from. If they're from Canada, the US, Australia, China, Mauritius, it doesn't matter. France. Write it down. What do you think? I already see some very, very nice answers in here. Gonna wait a little bit longer before we move on. Nice. Anything else? Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Very, very good. Now, Adrian, on the next slide, please, in case people don't know what values are, but I can already see NLP training, Rajni. I love that. Actually, yes, it is crazy. Before we went to Bali, and I'm going to read out loud what the others wrote, I did some research. Some of the most successful people, Tony Robbins is an NLP coach, trainer, right? And if you look at, there's one of the #1 manifestation coaches, Regan Hillier. She did NLP. I know that in the West, NLP is kind of old school nowadays, which I don't even understand. But I mean, yeah, many of us, we did NLP, and you are surprised on how many of the communication trainings, leadership trainings that these successful people actually attend, they have NLP elements. They don't know that they're actually practicing NLP, but they have NLP elements. So yes, they have NLP training. Isn't that crazy? And yes, I love what you said. Life and work attitude, Marta, and infinite mindset, Faha. They are proactive. They focus. Nice, Abby. So they embrace their values inside their jobs. Nice. Proactiveness and passion. Thank you, Ali. Creativity and confidence, determination, discipline, very good, grit and vision. Character and their job are not that far away from each other. So many good empathy. I like that too. Yes. So I started to actually, we can go to the next slide, Adrian. I started to interview these people for my podcast. I started to have conversations, ask some questions. I got coaching from some of these people who you saw earlier on the slide. I get trained by amazing people like Chris and Adrian and Dr. Kevin Liang. So because I want to be like them. I want to have the personality, the values that they have. And now on the next slide, Adrian, we now see a couple of, I tried to improve my skills with AI. I don't know if you can see it. So one of the #1 things I found out is from mingling with also millionaires and multimillionaires and billionaires is integrity. integrity. They do what they say they do. They do what they say. Then we have respect. We have accountability. I mean, that's why we hire our coaches, right? To have somebody who keeps us accountable. Some of them, they have very big visions. Jack Ma, Elon Musk, they have huge visions. They're also committed to excellence. Adrian mentioned earlier, like he was training us in NLP and especially in Bali, like every day we went into like how we can get into the circle of excellence, the circle of getting resourceful, right? We're committed to excellence and humility. Oh my gosh, like so many people, we would think that they are basically posting on Instagram, oh, I'm driving a Ferrari. But if you have met the really successful millionaires and billionaires, they are not posting about their yachts and Ferraris and so on. They are so humble, unbelievable. But yeah, one of the key things for me was really integrity. And it started to make me reflect. Now, on the next page, I want to tap a little bit into also intuition. So I started to take this course on Mindvalley on intuition, on how, like, I think we all have intuition, but from the education system, we are very like, we are left brainers. We are trained that, hey, in order to make really good decisions as a leader, as an executive, you need your numbers and data and facts, right? Your Excel sheet. And I'm not saying this is wrong, but there's books out there, there's research out there that shows that, hey, did you know that some of the best decisions from these companies or individually, yet were made from left brainers, rationally, analytically, with data and so on. But some of the best decisions were also made through intuition, your gut feeling. So research even shows that first, you make a decision from your gut. And then only second, those decisions are actually going in your brain and you rationally go through them as well. So I started taking this course on intuition. And even, I don't know, did someone of you read the biography of Steve Jobs? Raise your hand, give me a thumbs up if you have read the biography of Steve Jobs. Anybody? No? Or has any one of you actually studied Albert Einstein? Okay. Oh, Jay did. All right. Okay, Sophia too. So it's super, super interesting that many of the most like of the best decisions that these big leaders, visionary leaders, these game-changing people in the world, what they have done is some of these decisions came from their intuition. Would you have believed that? So it actually means that, okay, we now know what kind of values and what kind of personality some of the most successful leaders and business people have. Now we also know that it's not only about making good decisions like rationally, but also through your intuition, which then I realized, okay, I need to take a course on how to be more intuitive or how to actually connect better to my intuition. And that is something I started working on since January. And I realized I've always been doing this. And you probably always make decisions according to your intuition. But then sometimes, I don't know if some of you have this dilemma where you can't make a decision and you're overthinking, and it's very, very rational. But sometimes I just want to like ask you again, and I see Abby, she is nodding. Go back to your gut feeling. You know what to do. We coaches, we actually say that you have all the answers inside you. And the reason why you're getting a coach is it's because we're just helping you to get all these answers out of you. Because sometimes you are just not sure how to make the decision, or you're not confident enough, or you're self-sabotaging yourself. You're just blocking yourself. This is one of the reasons why you might have a coach, to get it out of you. But intuition, guys, I really want to encourage you to listen more to your intuition. And with Adrian in Bali, what we did before we actually had the official training at 6:20, after the sun was rising, we all had gathered together and we started to get into trance and we meditated. And this really helped us. And Adrian also trained me how to lead that for all of you. Yes, we did this for 6 days in a row, 6:20 a.m. before the training. And we meditated together. We went into trance. We went into, from alpha, we went into the beta and even like partly theta waves. And we really went more into training ourselves to connect to our intuition, to our subconscious mind. That is something where Adrian trained me so that I could also lead you even better, right? And as you can see on the slide now, and this is something I absolutely believe in business or life, takes one person, one deal, and one opportunity to change your life and your business completely. Adrian and his NLP training and everything else, the Motivate community and his team, and Chris and Kevin and Estrelita and Daco, they have been one of these people and opportunities that came in my life, that have transferred my life so that I can do the best for my clients. And my coach, well, this saying is actually from my coach, JT Fox, that you can see on the second picture here. And he has been one of these people for me because I may not have been able to get access to amazing millionaires, billionaires, to learn from them one-on-one, to work with them now in China, in Australia. So because I want to get to the next level. And guys, remember, think about who you want to become as a leader, as a mom, as a husband, wife, as a friend. Always think about, who do you want to be? What's the best version of you? And once you know that, then you also know you can come up with a plan on how you can get there, basically. Now, on the next slide, Adrian, we now have, this is all about an investment. We often seem to look at training and coaching as a cost. But remember, this is an investment. So you are the best investment ever. So all I do is, like, the money that I have on the side, basically, I then invest it in myself so that I can get to the next level. Here we have a picture from Bali with Chris, Adrian, and Kevin. I invested for 6 days in Bali NLP training. And next year, Adrian and the guys are going to take us to Vietnam, right? I'm already excited about this, right? Now, this is an investment in you. And then what Adrian and Chris did, they invested back in us, and they gave us even 8 days of value instead of just 6 days. Isn't that crazy? It's not a cost. You're always, Chiang Mai, Thailand is next, right? So you're always investing in you. But I need you to know first, like, what is the best version of you? What's the best or authentic leadership? That because every one of you is going to be a different leader. So you need to invest in you. And that's why now I invested in Bali and NLP. I've done my NLP training with Adrian 4 years ago. And ongoingly, I pay him to coach me, to mentor me, so that I can get to the next level. How are you going to get to the next level of your leadership style, of the authentic you, the person that you are? Now here you can actually see a picture. You see us running 6 a.m. running before the top 1% coaching. I have been dreaming for 7 years actually to get to the leadership to top 1% coaching program. This time I was in Australia for the first time, actually just last month. And again, at 6 a.m., these entrepreneurs you see in the picture are highly successful entrepreneurs in Australia. They are more successful than me. And they don't make excuses. Again, this goes back to the values, right? Integrity. If they say they go run at 6 a.m., they're going to be there to go running at 6 a.m. They don't make excuses because they know exactly of who they want to be as a leader and what is the next level for them. Again, who do you want to be? What is your next level? What are your goals? What action do you need to take to get there? And you become the person that you surround yourself with. So if I want to get to their level, I mingle with Adrian and Chris and with these people you see in the picture, and I take no matter what time it takes, even at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yes, and on top, you even see on the right side 2 billionaires. Only thanks, wait quickly, Adrian, only thanks to me having been to Australia, talking to my coach again, and asking and being persistent. A lot of these leaders also have persistence as a value. That's why they are on the next level. And I asked them, like, hey, for the Paradox Museum opening in China, how can I bring in value? I didn't get an answer, but a door was open to me. And I actually went to this opening and I met these 2 amazing billionaires that I had started learning from. Now I'm going to be able to create more value for them as well. So I really need you to pick a couple of, Adrian was mentioning, role models. Who are your role models? Who are the leaders? Who is the leader that you want to become? And if you have different kind of role models from all around the world, from your childhood, from, I don't know who it is, take them, because now, Adrian, on the next side, what we did in Bali was actually, like Adrian and Chris were saying, model it. And we were like, okay, we spent a lot of time actually on modeling people. We spend a lot of time on analyzing. Remember, I had asked you before, like, what is their personality like? What are their values like? How do they act? How do they move? What time do they get up? So from like every part of them, of those leaders, this authentic leadership style that you want to have and these role models that you have, we need to start modeling them. You need to analyze them. Read their autobiography, like from Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, if this is who you want to become. Like for me, Oprah is one of the role models. It's my big, big wish and goal. I want to meet Oprah one day. I'm only one connection away from Oprah. So who do you want to model, right? Jenny is laughing. Yes. So I need you to do research. And you know what I did while we were at the NLP Bali training? And we worked on modeling it, right? Adrian, you can already go to the next slide. I went on ChatGPT. I mean, ChatGPT is amazing, right? And I was actually doing, with the help of ChatGPT, some kind of research on what are the values and like how does Oprah tick. I really did like my research in detail with ChatGPT on my different kind of role models. And I really found out on their values, their personality, how they tick, how they make decisions, every detail that I could find out about them, because this is then of who I can model so that I can become the best version of me. And now here on this slide, we can see this is something that our NLP trainers actually train us on, right? I was now using ChatGPT, but here basically you can see the state, the physiology. Like we literally, in the NLP Bali training, we literally were like walking around in the room and we tried to walk like them. We tried to really step into their life and how they think, how they might communicate. Which words are they saying? Now here you can basically see, I don't know, like, Adrian, would you mind just like, I think you can do this even better. Would you just mind quickly like saying like 2-3 more tips from your NLP knowledge on how we can really model these people now, these leaders of who we want to become, these role models?
Oh yeah, because you know, kids, I got 2 beautiful kids here. They run around
muted?
crazy.
I don't hear you. Can everybody hear Adrian?
Anyone here?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can
Yes, I
hear
can
you.
hear.
I can hear him. I can hear him too.
So I've got 2 kids. They naturally run around a bit crazy, so sometimes they're a bit loud, but they also naturally learn. The kids are just nonstop learning machines. But when we get to school, the learning machine kind of stops, because imagine walking kids to school and the kids want to stop and look at a flower or a snail or a grasshopper. They naturally get distracted by these things and want to play with it. So kids are natural learners. But in school, we kind of sit down, little Johnny, and we teach everyone, and everyone gets taught to like to sit down and watch the teacher at the front of the class. And that's not normal. And that actually stops the kids from learning a lot. Now they've got to focus on what the teacher wants, and they're missing the caterpillar, the butterfly, and all the beautiful things along the way. So to learn accelerated learning or modeling, we just got to enter that childlike state. The more we enter a childlike state, not the perhaps a university state where we write down a pros and a cons list and make timetables and schedules. Just enter the childlike state and you'll have maximum efficiency. Enter the childlike state or a baby state.
I love it. Thank you so, so much. And we took quite a long time actually in our NLP training to really model this. And I can tell you, like, it helped me a lot. Now, Adrian, if you can move on to the next slide, I would like to share a personal thing with you, which I have not told anybody yet. So a couple of months ago, something so stupid happened. And I cannot even tell you how it ended up like this, how I ended up hurting somebody who really meant a lot to me. Of course, I analyzed it. I went over it. This person is a role model to me. And this person was so important to me. And things just happened where suddenly, bam, it was like an explosion. And no, I'm not talking about a fight. I'm not talking about a dispute either. But it really, really hurt. And these two people then, we went separate paths. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you, it's like, it sounds crazy, but just because this really hurtful, crazy thing happened, it really helped me and unblocked me, not just because it hurt so much and because I had hurt somebody else, which I had never intended, but it really helped me to become who I really want to be. And just thinking about it, I am actually so grateful because I know it had to happen that I can really like unlock my full potential. And I started to make some changes. At the same time, I also took some self-development courses more than even before because I love to learn. You know, I constantly take trainings and coaching and mentoring, and I'm about to be an NLP master practitioner as well. But just because of this one private incident where I really hurt somebody and it was not supposed to be like this, everything cracked down. And I really went even deeper. This was even before we went to Bali. And I had already started taking this course on connecting more with my intuition. And I actually made a couple of decisions according to my intuition, not the rational me, which also had led me towards it. So you might believe in destiny or fate, it doesn't matter, but I absolutely knew it had to happen because I started to really learn like what these values are of who I want to be, and also how these successful leaders, and I also try to learn from people, not just who are successful in their business, but at the same time, who have very good personal relationships, healthy home environments. Because remember, I personally want to be successful in private life and work life. Yes, I want to be happy. I want to be successful. Now, what about you? Who of you wants to be happy and successful at the same time? Basically successful in your private life and in your work. Anybody else in here? Raise your hand. Okay, nice. Chepo, Abby. Yes, right? Like so many successful business people out there, they're successful in their businesses. But how many of them actually are really, really successful in their family life with their kids? Candy, you too. Great. Like how many of them are really successful in private and work life? And this is something, because this happened, I also really started to make more changes. Okay, I am already a great version. I am already a great leader. Yes, I like the values I have. But because of that hurtful incidents, I needed to get to the next level so that this will never happen to me again, that out of nowhere, I hurt somebody which was never intended. so that I can be successful in private and work life, right? And this is again why I analyzed integrity, how humility, and all these values and these personalities of these people who are successful in work life and private life. And we have Rajni here in the call. I actually think Rajni, damn, excuse the wording, Rajni is such a role model. And she is not on like, she's probably not a billionaire, but she doesn't have to be a billionaire to be my role model when it comes to, I think, and knowing her in and out. She is such a role model and such an authentic leader who I think she's happy and successful in her businesses, but successful as a mom, as a wife, as a friend in so many ways. And I know some of you, you know, Rajni, you probably agree with me. And then I met Adrian in Bali. He took his daughter with him. And I was like, oh my gosh, his daughter is amazing. I personally don't have children yet. I have my 2 little kitties, my first children to practice with, okay? And again, this is now, I want to ask you, like, who are your role models when it comes to success in private life at the same time? I have my friend Christina. I think she's successful as a leader and in private life, and her husband Diego too, right? This goes back to, guys, what are your goals? Who do you want to be as an authentic leader? What are your values and your personality? Because if you have not identified these things, and I have absolutely identified those now, and this is where we can take action and we can get to the next level there. And that's why nowadays I'm just so grateful that, and I feel like so grateful that this bad thing had happened. Now, on the next slide here, Adrian, my question to you is, what is authenticity for you? Because only because of this hurtful incident, I started to realize that some people that I have worked with in the last year or two, or some like projects or business opportunities that I was working on, are actually not aligned with these values, with the personality that I want to be, you know? And especially also like when it comes to integrity, remember, people who have integrity, they say what they do. They do what they say. They're not changing their mind because a better, bigger opportunity is happening. Now, my coach, JT Fox, when we had, I interviewed him for my podcast, he had a call with a billionaire after that. But he was so dedicated in like giving value to me that he even gave me a couple more minutes more and let a billionaire wait. Does it mean that, oh, because just a billionaire is like money-wise a bit more worth or more successful than me, that he would dump me now and leave? No, this goes back to integrity and the values and the personality. So what is authenticity for you? How can you really be authentic? And I tell you this, you know what else I had realized in the last few months? I tried hard to be my authentic me. But especially with this one person, I realized I'm not 100% authentically me. And this is a red flag. This is already like an alarm clock. If you cannot be authentically me, something is wrong. Who of you is 100% at all times authentically you? Or give me a number from 0 to 100%. How authentic are you in your private life and your work life? And I had realized I was not authentic with a couple of people. And again, and this is like why the title is Mastering Yourself, because you have to master yourself. Why would I change my personality in front of somebody who means a lot to me? And this is one way how I had hurt him as well, because I was not 100% authentically me. This is just one way, and I cannot blame that person. This goes back to me. I have to control myself that I'm 100% authentic at all times, that I'm the strongest and the best. And this goes back to unlocking your full potential, right? And I'm so happy to see that some of you, that you are 95% authentic. and that you are, like Dako says, being okay with who you are matters 80%. And I absolutely realized, okay, with this one person, I was not. So again, this is why I started to change, because if I want to be a serial entrepreneur, that's one of my goals. And if I want to do amazing impact in this world, in like health, in through coaching, training, education, through different ways, I need to be 100% me. I need to improve myself as a person and my values. And that's why I started to quit working with specific people, because they were not 100% aligned with, number one, my leadership style, and number two, my values. Even one of my partners I worked with for 5 years here in China, I stopped working with him, and I like him as a person, as a friend. We're staying friends. But his leadership style is not aligned with my leadership style and my values. And I try to do everything for my people, because I'm in people business, right? If I don't take care of my people, I cannot get and do the best for my clients. So, and this is something where him, that person, and me, we have different values and totally different leadership styles, right? So, who have now asked? I want to ask you again. I'm so happy to see that many of you are super authentic. Congratulations, you have something that I had to work on and still work in progress, right? But what is authenticity to you? Or what is the authentic you? I'd love to see some answers. How would you describe the authentic you? And I'm going to quickly get some water for me. I've already finished my water. I'll be right back. While you are answering how to be the authentic you, what is your authentic you, or what is authenticity?
And of course, we got the question of which context. Hey, anyone else find it challenging to be very, very authentic with parents?
Ooh, good point, right?
Yes. Yes.
Anyone have?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. 'Cause I'm a school principal, so I mean, sometimes you can't.
Sometimes we choose that we can't. Yeah.
Yeah, because it makes sense. Not every information is for everyone. And also, I mean, like you said, what is authenticity? Not everyone deserves their authentic self. So it just depends on the audience.
And did you also say not everyone deserves your true authenticness?
I don't think everyone needs to have access to all of me all the time. I don't believe that.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing.
You know, I do tend to agree with her, because in our context, for example, where I work, I can't be my authentic self. It's, it's impossible to be my authentic self where I work, because it's not acceptable. They prefer you to be quiet and stay in your classroom. And I'm always vocal, and, so it's, again, the context in which you can be authentic or can't be who you really are. It's contextual for me.
Yeah. This is really interesting what you say, because actually I also realized in some parts you're being authentic as as actually giving you more troubles than applauses, and actually I decided for myself that if I have the choice, I'm not surrounding myself in places where I cannot be authentic. And I used to be like, since I have a really high empathy, I used to be really like critical towards myself when it came to criticism towards from other people towards me. I used to be like, okay, I should be like this. I should listen to this person. This person probably sees something which is real. And then you realize, growing in yourself, you realize, oh, actually, the most criticism is always coming from the horizon of another person, so it doesn't always mean that it's actually seeing the true you, or it's able, like it's having the right to criticize you in some specific manners. So when it comes to me, in the field that I am and in the field I want to go, I want to be somewhere I can be authentic, can be also realistic, and at the same time taking the criticism without being in the wrong place. So I think it's really, really important. So what you said, Janine, be around people, you know, who support being authenticity and also support personal growth. And I know it's hard if you have a job, right? I can't imagine it for myself. But if you have a job where it's like really, you know, where it needs to be like that, and it's a good job and you want to keep this job, I don't even know how to act in this kind of ways. But for myself, I decided I want to choose my path where I can be authentic, because this is the best I can be. You know, this is the most I can be, and I want to be the fullest self. That's what I decided for myself. I know when it comes to family, things are totally different. And you know, and it's like I have to be like not my fullest potential self, because I know some people just can't deal with it, and I don't want to create conflicts, you know, when it doesn't need to, when it's actually the peace is more important than being my authentic self. You know, so that's why I kind of like, now I'm working on being like, yeah, all right, you know, but actually, you know, pointing the you know, the topic to something else where we both agree on what we both agree on, you know, instead of trying to prove my authentic self. But this only when it comes to family, because I cannot choose family, though, you know, it's I cannot run away from family.
And that's a good point. We can maybe not choose our family, but we can probably choose our friends. We entrepreneurs, we can choose with who do I want to work with, right? And that's one of the things that I started to do then, in order to also be more authentically me and work with people who are aligned with same values. I stopped specific friendships and specific partnerships and with some clients in the last couple of months, so that I can really 100% tap more into who's the leader I want to be and what means authenticity. Adrian, would you mind quickly reading out a couple of the answers from the chat here? And then I'm going to try to show a video from my laptop, and we can see if this works.
Apologies, Janine. Did you say read out the answers? I thought my timing was fantastic at the slide, but you want to go to the next slide? What kind of leader do you want to be, or have a look in the chat? There's a lot of good shares going on tonight. I really appreciate the shares here. Thanks for Marta, Jenny, and Sophia for sharing before.
We can have a bit more of a chat. I mean, that is fine. It's not a problem. It's a very good discussion here.
Okay, now, sorry, Janine, you say you have a video?
Yeah, can you just quickly read a couple of these answers from the chat in the meanwhile?
Sorry, I missed a bit. Victor, with parents and close friends, I always tend to overthink and care for them. So I think Victor's chiming in at the family vibe there about trying to be authentic with family. Jay saying being confident and calm. Oh, this is a nice outcome. Being confident and calm and accepting of others at all times. Yes, I'd love to do that. I'd love to be able to say we can do that at all times. It's one thing to know it and another thing to do it sometimes, hey? For those that have had a little bit of training, if you want more success in being calm, confident, or whatever you want more success in, you can always spend a bit of time visualizing it as well. If you visualize yourself in some situations before you get there, visualize yourself being authentic. And if you actually fully visualize it a few times, that really helps actually bring out that behavior. So for Jay's comment there about being confident and calm and accepting of others at all times, if you future pace that and do it, you could actually future pace that and do it enough times, and then enough situations, you could completely bring that into reality.
Yes.
I won't read out marks because we heard her, but I'm sure they're good.
I quickly want to just quickly, Matan, you are right. Let's talk about a definition of what really is authenticity, and then I get back to you, Adrian. So I'm just quickly going to read out to you. Okay, so authenticity, especially in the context of leadership and personal development, refers to the degree. That's why I asked you, like, on a scale from 0 to 100%, it's a degree to which an individual is true to their own personality, their spirit, their character, despite external pressures, right? So no matter who you're surrounded with or what the external work environment or pressure is, you are still true to your own personality, spirit, and character. It's about being genuine and real, aligning the actions and the words with internal beliefs and values. That's why we started speaking about values, right? This concept extends to being honest with oneself and others. Very, very important, right? Not wearing a mask to conform to societal expectations or to please others. That could be self-sabotage because I was trying to please somebody, so I was not being 100% myself, right? And this would be authenticity. Now, instead, embrace and express your true self. Now, in leadership, authenticity is often seen as a critical factor for effective and inspirational leadership. Like, remember, think about all these good leaders: Jack Ma, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. Would people actually follow them? I mean, they're all not perfect. We all know that Steve Jobs must have been horrible to work with, right? Now, but they are so authentic, and that's why they have achieved what they have achieved, right? So in leadership, authenticity is often seen as a critical factor for effective and inspirational leadership. And authentic leaders are self-aware, transparent in their interactions. That's why they have good communication also. And they're consistent in their values, often leading by example, right? This is where the word integrity comes in. They recognize their strengths and their weaknesses. I mean, that's why they also have their team. And they're open to feedback and are committed to personal growth. That's why they constantly invest. The best leaders, they have coaches like Adrian. They have mentors. Like Darko is also really good in that, right? So they really like know their strengths, their weaknesses. They're open for feedback to grow. And this authenticity fosters trust and respect among their followers, creating a very positive organizational culture and improving team performance. So some of these companies actually have very outstanding organizational cultures as well. Now, to finish this up about authenticity, it also involves showing vulnerability at specific times. I mean, I did not have to tell you today that, hey, I messed up something. I messed up a specific relationship with a person, although it wasn't my intention, right? But vulnerability really is part of this as well. And we acknowledge our limitations. We acknowledge we are open to challenges. So this is about making decisions that are also consistent with your true self and values, and even in the face of adversity, thereby inspiring authenticity in others. And I think this goes back to, I was talking to this person about one thing, and I was in a situation with adversity, a lot of pressure, and like where some people would have done some ethical wrong decisions. Maybe because they prioritize the money, right? And a lot of big leaders, they go in these situations. But if you have integrity and you are authentic and you stick to your values, then no matter like how tricky or adverse the situation is, a really good authentic leader will stick to their values, and they're not gonna like change in that moment their values or their decisions. And this is also something where I was like, I thought, because the Chinese workplace made me challenge my values and my leadership in specific ways, compared to how me as a former account manager and leader, like in a German environment, I would not have even questioned those values. But this is why, again, it was good for me to revisit my values, my personality, and what authentic leadership means for Janine. And that's what I want to challenge you right now. Because it doesn't matter if I'm in China or I'm in Australia or I'm in the US or in Germany. You want to be the same you, authentic you, with the same decisions you would have made according to your values. And that's something I really realized recently. And that's why I made some changes, because I don't want to be like this. I want to be like that. So I really hope you're also getting these answers now. I'm quickly going to try to play a video. Let's see if this works. Oh, Adrian, can you quickly give my laptop the co-host rights again? I think it's also called Janine Jakob, so that I can show this video. Let's hope that my laptop stays stable now.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about leadership now, okay? So, and we're going to get back to, trust the trigger to teach. Let's see if we can, you will let me know if you can, and if you can hear it.
About these.
Can you hear it?
Sounds is gone. Try again.
Can you try to unmute my laptop? I cannot even unmute myself.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe it's a problem with the laptop again. Nope. Doesn't seem to work. I cannot unmute myself. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna skip this video. Adrian, do you mind going back to your own presentation then? So what I wanted to show you here is, and we could just go to the next slide. Who of you remembers the different leadership styles? Because we now know what authentic me means for ourselves, but we want to also figure out of like the different leadership styles. And normally when I work with my clients on their leadership style, we normally also say you have to adjust according to different situations, different people, the culture comes into place. On the next slide, Adrian. And there's different leadership styles, right? And again, you have to find what fits to you, what really fits to a specific person and the situation. And just as a quick reminder, you may have heard Daniel Goleman's 6 leadership styles. And basically we have here commanding, which is do what I tell you. And of course, the environment normally is not so good. So maybe you don't want to do this like all the time if you're this kind of leader, because people might not be so happy, right? You see from the smiley. We have the visionary leadership style. And I just wanted to show you actually a video, which now didn't work, where we have, different, like, do you know a visionary leader? I think Elon Musk and Jack Ma are probably some examples here. And the environment with the colleagues is really, really good. And people automatically follow. And the visionary leader is basically saying, hey, come with me, follow me, right? And think about if you know some people who have a commanding style and who have maybe a visionary style. So different, right? Now, number 3, we have the affiliative. And people come first. This is really like all about the people. So you, again, like the environment is pretty good, the work environment. We have the democratic style. What do you think? And I remember I had this one multicultural startup with 10 people here in Shanghai. And we had, he had like the founder, he was Indonesian. The other founder was Peruvian. And then one of the employees were Dutch and German. And they really, really needed, and also the American lady, they needed a democratic style. They wanted to be heard. They wanted to be part of the final decision making. So they really enjoyed it. They felt empowered when when the founders would ask them, so what do you think? What are your ideas? So this was like a co-creation part. But in terms of crisis management, like COVID or fire, that is just not the right style, right? This is where you need maybe the pace setting or the commanding style. Like here, pace setting would be do as I do now. Follow me out of the building. It is burning, or you know, because a person might know it best. And last but not least, we have the coaching style. And this is a newer style that a lot of executives don't know yet. This is also why some of the executives, they take trainings from Daco and Adrian and Chris on NLP and communication and on how to become a coach, actually, because it's a newer style. So coaching style could be, hey, why don't you try this? So again, I want you to reflect on what is your authentic leadership style. And as I said, this might vary from your situation, and this might vary from the people. All I can say is for myself, like the affiliative is a style that I use very often. Also the coaching style. I try to be a visionary. But again, people, this goes back to my personal values. People are so, so important. And this 5-year partnership that I had with somebody, he was my first partner when I started my company. I stopped it because this is not, he absolutely has no affiliative leadership style. And people don't come first for him. So him and me were just absolutely not aligned. And I decided that's just not who I want to work with. Right? So I really hope you're starting to get these answers. Yeah, servant leadership is another very common one. Thank you, Jenny, for mentioning. So we're moving on to the next slide here. Oh, no, guys, tell me what are, no, stop. Let's wait. Let's have a little discussion here. What's your leadership style? Which styles do you use very often?
If the kids are running late for school, I'm commanding. But if I've got time, I'm more democratic and affiliative. But if we're running late, they know I jump into commanding, and they also know your dad's commanding because.
Me as a director, I try to be a visionary and democratic, but sometimes I feel like there is a little conflict in it, because if you try to be democratic, people are like, you should have the answers, so you decide. And I'm like, guys, but what do you think? And they're like, we think what you think. And it's a little bit hard to be democratic in this kind of case.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Marta. Also in Chinese workplaces, they might not be used to a democratic style. They might feel way more comfortable if they actually have maybe, the pace setting or like the commanding style. Nice. I love seeing these answers in here. Good. So because of the time, I still want to cover something else, and we can do like a further Q&A session. So we're moving on to the next slide now. And also the next slide again. We're going to skip a couple of slides here, actually. Nice. I love seeing the answers in here, guys, in the chat. Thank you for sharing this. Yes. Okay. And the next slide again. Yeah. Oh, no, wait. Stay there with the stars thingy. We're a good team, Adrian. Really good teamwork here. Go one up, please. No, one more up, please. Yes, yeah, that's the right one. Okay, no, you're right. So some of us, we sometimes have these thoughts. I suck. I'm not good enough. I will never be able to get this great job, achieve that, or that stupid annoying client, or my boss is an idiot. Does someone of you sometimes have these thoughts? Raise your hand or write an answer in the chat. Okay, Jenny and me, we have these thoughts. Anybody else sometimes? Just Jenny and me? Okay, Daco, Adrian. Okay, yes. Yes, they might be subconsciously. Sophia, Marta, thank you.
Yeah, sometimes the beliefs are there, but it's quiet and we don't hear it. And maybe we got to slow down. But yeah, sometimes the voice is there. And hey, I don't really have this, but actually, if I look a bit deeper, yeah, there are times when I go, I want that. Oh, I won't be able to get that. So that's the middle one right there. I do sometimes.
Abby, thank you so much for opening how you're saying. I do have that quite often. And we call it this voice, it's like the judge, right? We all have it quite often, but many of us are not aware of it. Now, remember, the title was saying authentic leadership, and the end was like mastering yourself, because this goes back to mastering yourself. Jenny and Mata was sharing in which situations they are authentically them and in which situations they are not. And this is your choice. No judgment here. Only you know when it's right or wrong. But also having these thoughts. And now, Adrian, you can go to the next slide, actually. We call it like, this is like self-sabotage, right? Like you can train your mind to actually think, is this glass half full or half empty? And like we all have these saboteurs in here. And you can train your mind if you want to be negative and have a fixed mindset and constantly have these saboteur voices inside your head, these programs. Within NLP, we're working on like changing how we think, how we work, because we are running on these programs. So you want to become aware of these programs inside your mind. And some of them we call the saboteurs, who are motivating you through anger and guilt and fear and sadness to do your work and to live your life. And maybe you're becoming super successful, but you're probably not happy. How many of these super successful leaders are super rich, but unhappy, right? So you can master and learn to master your mind with NLP or positive intelligence to stop sabotaging yourself. And that's what I also did. I sabotaged myself more. Why this incident had happened that I shared earlier, right? And now on the other side, we have these sage powers. This is like where we have the growth mindset, where you learn to not constantly judge yourself, but you get motivated more from your mind, from these programs through positive emotions like empathy, curiosity, creativity, passion, purpose. And these people who are able to train themselves to tap into and change their programs, how they're running, and into these sage powers, how I call it here, those are the people who, number one, live a happy life, and number two, live a successful life. And that's why I had decided to invest in Adrian as my coach, as my mentor, as my trainer, and Darko, and a lot of other trainings beyond NLP and coaching and blah, 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 because I do want to live a happy life. I do want to be successful. And I'm sure you too, right? This goes back to investing in yourself, that you can really like unlock your full potential. On the next slide, I actually have a screenshot of something. We also did this in Bali. We played around with the heart math. I don't know if you have heart math, if you tried it out, but the nice thing is that within these 2 minutes of doing a couple of exercises, I can actually show with this little device. Here in the screenshot, you can see it, and this is the little device here. We are able to show and measure how within just like 2 minutes, Adrian has it too, you are able to perform higher and feel happier. So I can make it measurable. 2 minutes of working with me and with this device, I am able to track on how you're making a difference and how I can get you in a higher performing state and increase your happiness, your well-being, and your performance. And you know what? Because I'm trained, it doesn't even take me 2 minutes. It takes me maybe a minute or even less. And this is just one of the tools that we use here in the NLP training, out of many other things, to get you guys into a high performing state, to get you to tap into your full potential, basically. Yes, we're moving on a couple of slides, Adrian. Yes, move on again. Now we have some statistics here, actually, on the next slide. Within 6 or 8 weeks, people who have worked on mental fitness, just a different program, but it also has a lot of NLP tools in there. Sorry, go one up, Adrian, the statistics. These companies, they actually increased their sales. no, sorry, go back. Go back 2 slides back, please. And they have increased their sales within just 6 or 8 weeks. And all we did is we basically practiced for 10 to 15 minutes a day. And they were able to, here you can see, increase their sales by 37%. And we're talking about companies like L'Oreal, MetLife, Motorola. They were able to increase, like in one company, like those salespeople, they improved the competency sold by $55,000 more per month. Or here in another company, 91K dollars increase per salesperson. Which company doesn't want that? I know that some of your companies or your HR people, they are low on budgets because of inflation, economy going down, and so on. But hey, guys, if you work with us coaches, executive coaches like Adrian, Darko, and me, or if you join our trainings, like, we can get you outcomes. We increase your sales. We increase your effectiveness of communication. We help you improve decisions within just like one session, within a couple of minutes, within like programs like 6 to 8 weeks where you do like 10 minutes of work. Isn't this worth it? And again, this is not a cost. This is an investment. You are the best investment. The people are the best investment. So you can see my authentic leadership style as a person, right? So please, I know you guys invest in yourself, but tell your friends and your employers about this. Just working by us, you pay us a little bit, but the outcome you get is huge. Yes, here on the next slide, we even have a free assessment that you can take so you can find out about your personal saboteurs. Because first, we need to create awareness. What are my programs? What are my limiting beliefs? What are my inner saboteurs? And then you can come work with us and you can change those into sages, into strengths. Yes, next slide, please. I was mentioning my hurtful incident because we actually believe that there are no bad happenings. Yes, I had messed up. It hurt me and it had hurt another person with the example I shared with you earlier. But on the next slide, please, Adrian. I don't know if any one of you has ever heard about the story of the Chinese farmer and his stallion. Anybody has heard of this? No? Yeah, some did. So my example, or here, like this story, basically this farmer had a stallion, a horse. It got I actually wanted to show the video, now I have to remember telling it. It basically got stolen, right? So then neighbors would come and would say, oh no, poor you. I'm saying it in my own words. Poor you, this is so bad that your horse got stolen. And I think later the horse came back and then the neighbors would say, hey, congratulations, that's great. And then his son, the farmer's son, broke his leg. And the neighbors would come and would say, oh my gosh, this is such bad news. It's horrible. Such a bad thing that this happened, that your son broke his leg, right? And then
such bad luck. Such bad luck.
Exactly. Yes, such bad luck, however you want to call it. And then a few weeks later, soldiers were coming and they had to recruit young soldiers, young male to go into war for that country, right? But that son couldn't go now because he had a broken leg. And then the neighbors would come, wow, lucky you, right? This is such good news now. And then other things happened. And the farmer would always say, who knows what's good or bad? He didn't say, yeah, that's a bad thing that my son actually broke his leg. Or he didn't say, hey, it's a good thing and I'm so happy that he broke his leg. You never know, right? And even with the incident that happened to me, I'm just so grateful that it happened at the end, because that bad thing, I was able to convert it into something positive. So now, like, I am a better leader, a more authentic me. I have updated my values, my personality as a friend, as a leader, as a girlfriend, as a future wife, as a future mom, as as whatever it is, as a partner and client and teacher and trainer, thanks to that happening. So I'm just so grateful that it happened, right? And yes, as Adrian is saying, breaking out of conditioning. My coach JT Fox always says, what got you to this level or what got you here won't get you to the next level. So we constantly have to like do a zero-based learning and have to relearn basically. And that's why with Adrian, we always work on these programs. Okay, move on to the next slide, please. Actually, 2 slides later. Yes, one more. The sage perspective. Now you can take a screenshot here. We can use this for our Q&A session. You could ask yourself now, what bad thing happened in your life? And what did you learn out of this? What's the knowledge you got out of it so that the payoff in the future could be much larger than what it is costing you right now? I mean, it had cost me a very, very important relationship to a person, and I'm not getting that relationship, that person back in my life, right? But the payoff was so much better because now I can fully unlock my full potential and can do so much better and have a bigger impact for my clients, for my future companies, endeavors, and so on. And then number 2, you could actually ask yourself, now, what is the action you need to take now? What is an inspiring action? And I give you an example. A mom lost her child because of a drunk driver. It's probably one of the worst things that can happen, right? But after a long, long time, she understood, hey, I need to open an organization to educate people about why you should not drink and drive. So that she basically can help other mothers to not lose their children because of drunk drivers. So this bad thing that happened to her became a blessing for so many other mothers and fathers who did not lose their children because of drunk drivers. So this was an inspiring action. Okay, Adrian, move on. Next slide. Yes. One more slide here now. So we basically need to learn to master ourselves, our thoughts. And today we spoke about authenticity, on leadership styles. Who is the leader you want to be? Stick with Tony Robbins, please, with that slide. We spoke about how we can stop sabotaging ourselves. And the first step is really create awareness on your limiting beliefs, on your programs, on your saboteurs, that we can actually change them then. And as Tony Robbins says, I mean, you know, having knowledge is one thing, but it's all about action. My favorite word, and people who have worked with me, they know I'm very good in taking action and fast action and kicking people's butts, like we did in Bali, right? 6 o'clock, we were meditating every single day, although we were partly on vacation. No excuses, as we say, Monday morning motivation. So here, most people fail to achieve their goals in life for just one simple reason, as Tony Robbins says. They just never take action. And successful billionaires and millionaires, they don't work with people who don't have integrity, who don't do what they say they do. And you gotta take action. The path to success is to take massive, determined action. Now, on the next slide, for everybody who wants to take action and wants to get access to some people that I learned from beyond amazing Adrian and Darko, who we have here, if you would like to come join me in Australia beginning of June, Adrian's also going to come with me. We're actually going to learn from, yes, it's a Hollywood actor, Vince Vaughn. He's super, super famous, but at the same conference where we work on, it's a sales, business, wealth, mindset conference, we're also going to meet a lot of other very successful entrepreneurs. Like the former CEO of 7-Eleven and Blockbuster is going to be there. I'm going to meet him actually. And I'm also going to meet, again, the Reebok founder of the Reebok shoes. He's going to be there. And from my beginning slide, you may have seen this couple, Carolyn and Sergio, Carolyn played as a TV reality show celebrity, the Housewives of Dubai she played in, and the Ladies of London. But even these Hollywood actors, many of them are actually serial entrepreneurs. So there's so much we can learn from that, and that's why I meet them, and that's why I go there. And yes, I meet some of them one-on-one, and you can come join me if you want to meet them one-on-one, if you want to join the conference. We even have an exclusive cocktail party for just a couple of people that my coach JT Fox organized with Vince Vaughn. So you can be part of this if you want to. Adrian just wrote my calendar link here in the chat. We can schedule a call, you and I, and we can have a talk. I can show you the different packages and how you can join. We also have the night before the event, I am organizing an exclusive dinner with Australia's #1 AI marketing person. She's gonna come and she's gonna join us for dinner, and we're gonna have a one-on-one with her as well. Adrian's gonna be there too if you want to meet Adrian in person. And yeah, now on the next page.
Yeah, it's just a 13-hour drive, but I guess I can fly there instead.
No excuses. We're action takers, right? Remember, in business or life, it takes this one person,
Action.
one deal, opportunity to change your business and your life completely. JT Fox was one of them. I met him 7 years. One of the next people who came in my life just 1 year later was definitely Adrian. He's one of these people for me. And I try to learn from the best. I want to work with the best because I want to make the biggest possible change in your companies, in your own lives. As I said, get you to the A++ level as a player and make your teams high performing. So if you're interested to work with me, now on the next page, I think this is where my social media are, where you can connect with me or follow me, right? Oh no, listen to my podcast where I interview these successful people so you can learn what I learned from them. Adrian's podcast with Chris is coming up very soon. Wow, I learned things from Adrian and Chris in this podcast that I did not know and I didn't learn in our coaching, training, mentoring before too. So I listened to my podcast of highly successful people. Okay, now the next page, then you can connect with me and we can really open the Q&A session even further. Thank you, Adrian, for, no, next one. Thank you so much, Adrian, for being my assistant tonight. You did a very good job. Next time, please wear a really beautiful assistant dress, okay? In green, fitting to me and my PPT. So, guys, you can connect with me here. These are all my social media, email, whatever you need, my WeChat, and so on, my calendar link. Thank you so much for not making excuses, for being here with me tonight or this morning, wherever you are in the world. I love how international we are, and I'm opening up the Q&A session and we can have further discussions or sharings. Thanks to Motivate community.